What's good, everybody, man? We'd just like to welcome you to another Watchmen 82 podcast. I'm your boy, Wally Analog, and I'm joined, of course, by Mr. 1%, the resident of the lead is the benevolent Suge Knight, Rose Silly. Yeah. We got a guest in the building. And as you all know, this is a podcast, a Watchmen podcast, that we pride ourselves in bringing in those with a different perspective. We had radio show hosts / activists. We have had members of the white community, weigh in on the podcast. And this week we have a female perspective. Mm-hmm. And we would just like to welcome our guest this evening, one Christy Pruitt Haynes. Did I get that right?
You did.
Oh, there we go. We go.
Pass the first test.
Tell the people about yourself.
Of course. Hello, everyone. So, as he said, I'm Christy Pruitt Haynes, actually a native of Nashville, which is
ain't
rare.
Many of those.
Yeah, there's like four of us.
You're like a dodo.
I prefer unicorn, but whatever.
There you go.
We'll go with dodo bird
if
we must.
I like that.
I say unicorn.
Okay, I like that. We'll go with unicorn.
There we go. So, my background's in diversity, human resources, strategy, things like that. So, for me, the show just hits on so many very unique things that I'm so excited to talk about, but also do a great deal of public speaking. I have a TEDx talk. Everyone should go check it out. So I'm always going to tell everybody I will lead with that. It's all about women in the workplace and things like that. So I do look at things, I think, a little differently from the female perspective. And, a lot of women, I think women love comics. They love the movies, Marvel, DC, all of that.
Really?
But we tend not to talk about it. Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Surprise.
It's like the secret thing. So when we're all together, we may converse about it. But when we're around mixed company, around guys, whatever, we tend not to, because it's just assumed to be this guy's thing. And I'm like, most of my friends are guys. So for me, it's just natural. And I'm one of those, you get what you get. You love me or hate me. It doesn't make me any difference one way or the other.
Yeah. Which is interesting, because that would ultimately break the ice. Like, I think guys would be like, what she likes.
So back in my single days, it was one of those things. So I could talk about, whether it was sports or comics, or I learned to smoke cigars just to meet me. And so it's one of those things. It's strategy. All of it goes back to strategy.
Right.
So I did all these things because it was authentically and uniquely me. But it put me in some really interesting circles I probably wouldn't have been in otherwise. So it actually played to my benefit. So single ladies out there, start speaking up. Yeah. Smoke a cigar, drink some bourbon, and talk about a comic. Right. And, your single days will end quickly.
There you go.
Well, and the reason I asked the question is, like, when I was growing up, I loved comics, but I didn't want to mention it because I wanted to date.
Exactly. Yes.
So,
and it was
and it wasn't as popular as it is now. Like, people are accepting it.
OG nerds. We didn't jump on the bandwagon when it got cool.
I was hiding my comics in the backpack.
Live through the adversity.
Right.
I went to the magnet school where we were all a bunch of nerds. So for us, it's just what we did.
Gotcha.
But for everyone else, comic books was like one step away from Dungeons and Dragons. So it had that whole kind of vibe for some people.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a cool way to tell an awesome story.
Yes, for sure.
So that's the part of it I really love. The stories resonate with me. So it's been great to now share this with my niece and my daughter. They have become, especially Marvel, like we are. The night a movie comes out, forget school. Who cares? Yes, this is a Thursday night.
Best mom ever.
Yes, yes, it's a Thursday night. However, you are allowed to be late to school tomorrow because we're going to this premiere.
That is right.
So it's something that I get to share with them, and they're just excited about it as I am. So, it's become this really kind of generational thing. So even my mom, like, she's jumped on the bandwagon.
That's cool.
And so it's become a family thing that I love sharing with them. So it's kind of awesome.
All right. All right. Quick question.
Yes.
Favorite Marvel movie?
Oh, goodness.
Is that a hard question?
No, okay.
Because there's so many you like for different reasons.
Exactly.
It's hard to categorize.
And that's the thing. So I will have to say Civil War.
Yeah.
I will have to say that's my favorite.
Boy, that's a good answer right there.
There are a lot of great ones. I love most of them. I can't say I love all. I love most of them. Civil War, though, because I think the thing about that is that's when you really saw the characters personality.
Yes.
And you saw what they stood for.
Right.
And there was still all the great cinematography and the fight scenes and all of that stuff was awesome. But you really saw what mattered to them.
Right.
You saw a transition in some of the characters where they came to their truth, I think, in that movie in a lot of ways. So just from the storytelling aspect, I absolutely loved it. So I got to say that's my favorite.
And that was the first appearance of Black Panther, right?
First appearance of Black Panther.
Yeah.
And
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
So
First
it was
appearance.
extra dope.
Yeah. That's why I said that's a real good answer right there.
Yeah.
Because
So-
you got to choose. People got to choose their protagonist and antagonist.
You did. And for some people, it even changed during the movie. Who
Yeah.
you saw as
It
the
did for
good
me,
guy
but yes.
versus the bad guy,
Right.
at the
It did.
beginning versus the
That's
end.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It could be
That's
different.
true.
And I think what you ended up ultimately seeing is there was a little bit of good and bad in all of them.
Yes.
And that's what made the characters complex and make them relatable. And I think that's another reason I loved them, because nobody was completely perfect in that
Right.
movie. And that's what made them, they're just like the rest of us.
That's right.
They just got some really cool powers that I
Yeah.
wish I had.
Not
Right,
to derail,
right.
but it's when you were saying that, it was interesting to see how Black Panther interacted with Zemo, and it's almost reflective of how he interacted with Killmonger
Yes.
in
Yes,
Black
same.
Panther.
Yeah, mercy
Yes.
and
Yeah,
and,
just
and,
like,
and
hey,
sympathy. And
Right. I'm not going to just
compassion.
kill you just
Right,
because.
That a lot of
revenge.
people wouldn't have had.
Correct.
No,
I'd have-
but he
And
was
that-
royalty, and there was a decorum, right?
Yes.
There was
Yes.
a proper way of behaving, and he was trained that way, right?
Yes.
To understand compassion and sympathy, and,
Right.
And quite honestly, love for somebody. But this, my God, this is a
Yes,
DC
we're
podcast. This is a
DC.
DC podcast.
Yes.
A DC property. We've
Yes.
talked up Marvel.
Yes.
DC is awesome too. We love
They
them
are.
as well.
Oh my God, yes.
But I appreciate your
They are
perspective, because I don't think guys hear that enough.
Yeah, right.
They're scared
Yeah.
to mention I like Spider-Man because they think the ladies are gonna go.
Ugh.
Oh no. Spider-Man. And again, it's one of those, no matter where you are in life, like the reason I love them versus the reason my 16-year-old love them, probably different.
Right. It's a
But
different
we-
time now.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that before.
Oh well, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But yeah, now we all love it, and I'm very glad there's going to be another Spider-Man movie.
Yes. Go ahead and wrap it up so
yeah.
he can go back home. And, yeah,
Exactly.
don't leave us hanging like that.
Right.
Yes. But DC, watch
Such a
it.
lovely perspective. Now, and since you have given your perspective, and like I said, we pride ourselves in looking at the Watchmen TV show from more than just the comic book I'm gonna fight aspect kind of deal. As you alluded to earlier, this show and as are a lot of the comic book show movies and such have a lot more to them. They're more layered than people would tend to believe. Jennifer Aniston, Coppola. Oh, excuse me. Scorsese, excuse me.
Elizabeth Banks.
Excuse me. Ugh. But there's more to them than that, and so like I said, we pride ourselves on that. And you've given a wonderful perspective on that. Right. So that being said, we just want to get your perspective overall before we start talking about this last week's episode. Just give your perspective on the entire series thus far,
Yes.
from the perspective of an African American woman.
So it is so timely. Like, I don't know that this show would have hit the same chord, at least with me, 5 years ago as it does now, just with everything that's going on in the world. First and foremost, I absolutely love that the main character is a Black woman.
That is correct.
Like, it is, and in all honesty, it's probably what initially drew me to the show.
Okay, and an excellent actress portraying.
Yes. Regina King, I've always said, like, when my life story is told, she's going to be
play
me. Yeah. Now I just have to do something worthy of having her play me. So that's like,
It
on
looks
my
like you're
bucket
well
list.
on your way.
Well, thank you. That's the plan. So first, I love that the main character is a Black woman, and I love that she is very authentic in her approach. And honestly, from the first episode, like, they go in and they start with race right away. They start with this sort of diversity side of things and the fear that so many people see and talk about in the world right now. The show, from episode 1, that's what they sort of lead off with, and it's a reoccurring theme throughout all of the episodes. So I love that because it makes it relatable. It makes it about things that we think and feel and see every day right now, as we're kind of walking through the world. So for me, that part of it is super interesting. But then as you layer on all of the other stuff, and again, I think it's that whole complexity thing. Nobody is 100% innocent in this show. Everybody has their things that they've done in the past or they want to do. And it makes you look at things from such interesting and unique perspectives that, you know, a lot of people, they think, oh, it's a movie about a comic book. This is going to be, it's going to be made for a 12-year-old boy, so it's going to be kind of dumbed down. But it's not. This is like sophisticated, smart storytelling.
Yes, Damon Lindelof don't tell no mess.
No.
Yeah. And you haven't read the graphic novel?
No,
have you? Okay.
I have not.
Because that was not intended for young audience.
Yes.
So.
Well, I can tell just from the TV show, I can
Exactly.
tell clearly this was not made for...
Yeah, they expounded a lot from the TV show.
Most books are typically better than
Right.
the movie.
Yeah.
So I love that about it. I love the relationship that she has with her husband and with her sort of adopted kids and this sort of protective quality that's there. The complicated relationship between she and the chief that become even more complicated as she learns more about him.
Right.
So it's just all of this stuff that is so fascinating. And Lady True, like I want to be her. I want to be her best friend. I also kind of hate her in some ways.
Right.
But
She
but
take
she
charge.
is
She a boss.
is like
right?
she owns everything, and she is so. And again, I think especially for being a woman and seeing that female portrayal of strength from in all of the characters, in her, in Regina King's character, even in the FBI, all of them are so strong. They're different. They present their strength differently, but you almost forget. And I hate to say this, but you forget they're women, and they just become really great actors telling a story. So it's not a woman telling a story, which, you know, when you think about Wonder Woman, for example, she leads with being a woman. You know, her femininity is a big part of that. They are just phenomenal characters that happen to be played by women.
Right.
So I absolutely love that.
Yeah, one criticism of the graphic novel was the women characters in that book did not get
marginalized.
They got marginalized, and I really feel like the show definitely
They're front and center.
They're righting the wrongs.
Yeah, and the show, like the book, is reflective of the time. So like when the graphic novel came out, that was during the Reagan era, and they were doing a lot of criticism, you know, about politics, society, classism, economics, that kind of deal.
Everything
And
old is
then-
new again.
Right.
So we're right back
Right.
there.
And then this show is reflective of the times. One question I have for you is, there's a little bit of, I don't want to say it's uneasiness, but it's like there's a Cal and Angela have a interesting relationship. It's not your, I guess, what typically is depicted. I celebrate, like, you know, the maybe the swapping of
traditional
gender
roles. Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about, like, I want to get your take on it.
So
Because I'm a guy, and it would be hard for me to
we can't
like
really
really
speak to it.
yes,
But there's something off, and it's not like I'm personalizing it, but it's
Right.
like she's a protector. Normally,
And-
I would be the protector of my family. You know, that kind of
which
deal.
is so, again, as a woman, I love seeing that, because the reality is that exists in a lot of households, whether it is a single mom who's leading the family and the guy just isn't present, or there's the kind of dynamic that they have where there's sort of this swapping of traditional gender roles.
Right.
The thing that I really feel like they do really well is, in spite of that sort of swap that they seem to have, there is still a relationship there.
And a balancing.
Exactly.
Right.
There's still a balance. There is still a sense of partnership.
Right.
And a lot of times when you see this kind of, you know, departure from the traditional gender roles, it goes so far to one side or the other that the man gets marginalized to, you know, he wearing an apron, and that's kind of the extent
Right.
of it. But it's one of those, she's like, when she left, you know, I guess it was episode 1, maybe 2, when she left to go and
grabbed the gun and went out to the tree.
And the first thing
episode
she
1.
said to him was, all right, anybody comes on the
rolling
street,
up
you
here.
shoot him.
Right.
So it shows either of them can carry that
Right.
role. It's just her job, so she leads with it, but
Right.
he's right there with her.
He's Dr. Manhattan, so he good.
We don't know that yet.
Now that
I'm
would
just
that would be
guessing.
interesting.
What if Angela is Dr. Manhattan?
How can that be?
I don't know. Just
You never
graphically.
know.
Yeah, true
You
enough.
never
True
Like
enough.
I
He
look
can
at
do it.
I look at the promotional artwork, and they were very slick in putting the Dr. Manhattan glow on her face.
Oh, is that right?
Check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
This show's capable of anything.
Yeah, true.
Clearly.
I'm throwing that out there just to throw people off, I guess.
Yeah, you're throwing them off.
But who knows? Who knows who Dr. Manhattan is, or if anybody's...
if Dr. Manhattan is even a thing, a person.
Right.
But yeah, so I really, though, I appreciate the relationship that they have. And I appreciate the way they handled it.
Right.
In such a way where you don't lose respect for him in the role that he plays with the family.
True.
Very good.
Right.
Very well done. Is there anything else you would like to share? Because you mentioned that there are a lot of things. Are those things more episode related or as a whole?
Yes, all of the above.
Okay. Okay.
So
I say we continue on with the entire series
and
perspective, because this is the endeavor of this podcast. We don't want to we want to turn over every stone as it relates to people's different perspectives, and from all walks of life, as much as possible.
Yes.
Right.
So leave nothing unexpressed, please.
All right.
We'll get into the episode, but you know what I'm saying, this is what this podcast is primarily about.
So in the just series overall, I think one of the other things that I've had several conversations about is the way they both look at, treat, and talk about the police officers. And again, that's one of those things, it's a very timely thing. Like, I think in this day and age, there are some people who would love the idea of, before an officer can pull a gun, he's got to call in and go through this check mark of, are you in danger? Yes. Do you think somebody's actually going to kill you? Yes. Are you sure? Are they really going to kill you? Or are you just being a wuss? You know, so they go through all of this
Giving you
stuff.
time to think and process.
Exactly. So there's some parts of that you wonder, how would this play out in real life? But you also see it from their side in people targeted them. Like, they were, White Night happened, and it was this terrible event. So again, even for people who have very strong opinions one way or the other, the show still kind of challenges it and helps you see things from other people's perspective, which I think is what good television is supposed to do.
Right.
So I love the way they really treat and talk about the police officers, and then just all of the racial things like that and the way they handle it, and in talking about the very thing that I think we all see, and that fear really is the strongest motivator.
Yep.
Like, it is what drives people to do some of the best and worst things that we see happen in humanity.
Right.
And that's this ongoing theme on the power of fear, and how fear can blind you to logic, it can blind you to reason, it can blind you to all of these things. And the way the show talks about it and treats it, again, it just feels very relatable. So I think that's something that, even if you're not someone who typically follows DC, or you typically follow comic, anything like that, there's still elements in this show in particular that really will resonate with you.
So what do you think about those who don't see that, don't recognize the fact that this is more than a comic book, quote unquote, TV show, and fail to look at it for what it is? One of the, and we talked about it at length on a few episodes prior to this one. The I guess dissatisfaction, for lack of a better term, from members of the white community addressing the white supremacist thing. It's like they felt like it's too political. I've seen this tripe before. I just want to be entertained, and that just flies in the face of everything you said about this show being more than just that. What are your opinions on that? Because it is important that people do indeed look at things, excuse me, from a different perspective, and to not be so myopic, even when it comes to being entertained, as it were.
Yes. So, in my attempt to not offend anyone, a hit dog will holler.
Exactly right. Like I always say, the ugly hate mirrors.
Yes, exactly. Right. So I'm sure there are some people who will watch this and immediately criticize it and say, oh, this is too political. Oh, this is so outrageous. This could never happen. We could never live this way. You know, all of those things. But yet we are. Exactly. Because,
and when we get into
it's
this
a mirror.
episode, too,
it's front and center.
It's front and center, and it also, not to derail, and I want you to finish your point, but like the senator basically says, it's in all branches.
Yes.
I'm using
It's-
the racists here to
get
to
something
further
done.
my
to
agenda.
get what I need.
Yes.
And
Right.
that's what happens every day. We
Right. So
see
it's
that in
not just
politics
about
right
white
now.
supremacy.
No, it's
Exactly.
not.
Yeah.
And it was maybe it was the last episode where Looking Glass said, he's a white man from Oklahoma. Of course, like basically saying, well, of course
that
he
man-
was racist.
right?
You-
Which is an
know?
obscenely generalized statement,
Right.
But at the same time, there's an understanding there,
That
like
you just-
that this
there's
is
an assumption,
this-
like-
right? That this is a thing. People think this. There,
Mm-hmm.
this is the perception, and sometimes that is everything.
Yes, and I think
Benefit of the
going
doubt.
back to what the senator was saying, what's the saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he has no issue in using white supremacists to further his cause kind
Mm-hmm.
of proves, and this is what you see every day. People will align with folks that otherwise they would not align with,
And they
to
may
get
not
what they
even
want.
feel. They may not even feel that way.
Exactly.
You may have people doing racist things, but it furthers their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
This show, and in my mind, the underlying theme of this show is how much evil can I do in the name, of the greater good.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, and that is the recurrent theme.
It's a question
starting
that's
starting
asked.
from Dr. Manhattan,
Mm-hmm.
and Adrian Veidt in the original work. Right, I'll drop this squid and kill a whole lot of folks,
But-
in the name of establishing worldwide utopia.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
okay. And so, and you have that same thing, even like you were saying with the police. How many people will I jack up and deny their civil rights in the name of getting it done, getting
Right.
the work done around here?
At what point do the ends justify the means?
Exactly.
Right.
And I think this show really causes you to ask that question every single episode.
Every single episode.
Because you see it, and there's a part of you that even understands it. It's like, will I align myself with whomever if I know it's going to help out these 10 people?
Right.
Right, in the right situation, maybe I would.
right.
And I think that's one of the really cool things about the show. And the one other thing, and I think we could probably talk about this all the time. So I think one other kind of overarching theme that I find just really, really interesting is both the technological advances and regressions, if that's the word. So they live in this very interesting technical time where they have all of these super cool things where you can go to a machine and say your name and it gives you your history and it gives you an acorn that where you can
talk to
see
Dr.
everyone.
Manhattan,
Exactly.
But you still got pagers.
But yeah, exactly.
And no cell phones.
And seeing that
No
kind
internet.
of seeing that dichotomy, which again it makes you think, because I think conversations we've probably all had is the social media and the internet with all of the advances and the wonderful things that it does, has it done more harm than good?
And the answer is
Yes. So to see this show kind of exist where they have all of these great technical things, but they don't have some of the downsides where people are living their lives just to get likes. It's really interesting to me on what would society look like if we didn't have the negatives, but we give up some of the positives. So again, it's that there are just a lot of really interesting kind of questions that I think
That's a great
go
point.
beyond any individual episode, that the overall show makes you look at and just kind of have some really cool conversations about.
This podcast is already over. It's over. This is great. We haven't talked about one frame of the episode,
Exactly.
which I guess that is our cue to do so. Unless you have some more interesting and insightful things to say about it.
Let's get to the episode.
Okay, let's get to the
This
episode
one was
because we can do this all these.
interesting. Yes.
Yeah, you may have to come back.
Perfect. I live down the street. It
Okay,
works.
that'll work. Everybody's convenient. Okay, so this episode I particularly like because I love when any show will dedicate an entire episode to giving you a backstory on an interesting character.
Yes.
We've pretty much gotten. We just haven't gotten one from the dude with the red. What's the guy with the red thing on his head?
Red Scare.
Red Scare.
Yes.
He's next. You saw him, so whatever. But Looking Glass was so compelling from the beginning, right?
Yes.
Like, what's the deal with him? We got an idea of what his, for lack of a better term, power set. Nobody really has any powers, with the exception of Dr. Manhattan. But we got an idea of what he was capable of doing and how effective he was at that. And so they took us back to the beginning. as a young kid, young teenager, and it looks like he's part of this religious group, and they're on this pilgrimage to save the people. You know, he comes from Tulsa. I find it interesting that they went all the way from Tulsa. They all jumped on a bus and went all the way to, like, why Hoboken, New Jersey? Is that like
that's where the sinners were?
I know, but was that determined to be the epicenter of the worst sin? Like, I'm sure you could have gone to Vegas or somewhere. You know, there's a whole lot of places worse than Hoboken, New Jersey.
Well, what do they call down south? The Bible Belt. So that's what I felt like it was. It was like they came from the Bible Belt. And we're hitting L.A. and New York where the centers are.
There's no
Studio 54.
There's nothing saying that there wasn't a bunch of different chapters going out everywhere.
Right.
They just happened to pinpoint one that was close to the epicenter of the psychic blast coming from a squid having been dropped on Manhattan. But
there's also some reason that the squid chose Manhattan, which, you know, they're all right there together.
Yeah,
so
Vike had a lot to do with that, right?
Yes.
He's like, this place is terrible. So yeah. So we get an insight into that, right? They're coming out. This is 11/1, right? The night before the infamous 11/2, and they're passing out their pamphlets to go proselytize to the people, try to save them.
Actually, it's the night of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Midnight then turns into 11/2, correct?
Oh, I see.
You see how it works?
I got you.
You see what I'm saying?
They're
there at 11/1, but the clock is ticking. You know,
okay.
At the
1
time
minute
it drops.
okay.
Because that's when he gets out. He gets out the bus. And, you know, the preacher guy, or whatever, the guy who's organizing the trip is like, okay, let's get out here and let's save these sinners. Tick tock, tick tock. You should have known right then. It's going down.
And I want to make clear, when they were talking about the minute, they're not talking about the actual. They're talking about the doomsday clock.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, no,
Thank
you're
you for
good.
that correction.
Yeah.
So he's going out and he's practicing his spiel or whatever. I'm gonna talk to. Do you know the truth? I'm gonna give you the truth and blah blah blah. And you can tell he's like this dude that he ain't. You know, he's a member of this group, but he's not
green.
even very sure of himself at all. It's like, what a time to go out on a rookie assignment. I mean, this looks like something that you send Tom Brady out to do, not your first round pick. You know what I'm saying? Off on a sorry team. This is not good. So he like you said, he looks green. He looks like a rookie, and so he's going out. He said, and they say his name, you immediately know. Oh, they talking about my man. This is my man, Wade Tillman.
Yeah,
Looking Glass. So he's going out. And he's got a little form, and he's got a panda on it. And I was asking about the panda thing. The panda thing comes up a lot, and the notion of black and white and everything not necessarily being rose, a bunch of colors. Everything is pretty much this
it's
or
either
that.
this or that.
Angela
There's no
Abar,
gray area.
Angela Abar mentioned that when talking to her son about, the people want to color and paint this. And we know that it is black and white. The police handle everything one way or the other way.
Right.
There's there's the Rorschach mask, black and white, and there's the panda guy in the
who's
police,
like the rule keeper.
Yeah,
he's
like,
no,
you
this
can
ain't
have
right.
a gun.
And
Either that or if this not a situation, you don't get a gun. If it is, then bet. It's like there's no room for
gray.
negotiations, and everybody acts like that. Like, we're gonna go take care of business. 1 or 0, on or off, yes or no, true or false is what it is,
And that should be challenged,
right?
because that's the way the world has been operating for so long.
Right.
And we're so behind because it's either this way. You're either Republican or Democrat.
That's right.
Right.
And it's like, why can't I be in between?
Right,
Why can't I like both?
Right, you can be a Democrat, but own a gun.
Right.
You can be a Democrat and be a Christian.
Yeah. You're naturally you're black, so you definitely
must-
gotta-
obviously.
you must
obviously.
vote. Surely you voted for Obama. And like, well, not necessarily. But we're all categorized anyway.
Yeah.
The panda's on the little form to watch, and he's going out and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna proselytize you people, and of course they're looking at him like, bruh. And it did look like the epicenter of it was a den of iniquity.
Yes.
It was terrible. And what's funny
All
is
of the
they were at
deadly
an
sins in one
amusement
place.
park. It was the nastiest, most foul amusement park I've ever seen. And there was a whole lot going on.
They had funnel cakes, so
That's all that matters.
That makes it all right. It is black and white. Do it
that's how
got
you
funnel
know it
cakes
was
in
real.
it? It's good.
guy had that nourishment, I guess.
Yep.
With sugar.
Yep.
Right. So they're looking at Bible Boy and they're like, man,
Get outta
he
here.
about to get bullied. And then a young lady says, oh, well, look, I want to hear what you got to say. Come on in here with me. And what ensued thereafter, at least what you thought was going to ensue.
Yeah.
So he was green in every way.
Yeah.
And she was about to go ahead and do, get a little work. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, she done ran off with the boy's clothes. He's standing there naked. And now he's mad at himself for giving in to the sin and the temptation that came with a lovely young lady, which he had never had any experience with, clearly. And he's in a hall of mirrors at the time. So the blast goes off, the infamous blast, from the squid being dropped in the psychic energy being emanated throughout from the center of the Manhattan or whatever, it reached all the way out and breaks all the mirrors and everything like that. And he comes out naked. First thing he does is grabs his clothes. There's death everywhere. But let me get my pants. Let me get my drawers first. But then he looks around and it's like, oh my God, everybody's dead. With the exception of a smattering few that for whatever reason were spared from the blast. And so you get it. You get the backstory for why Looking Glass is the way he is, and why he wears later on the reflective nature of the mirrors protected him to a degree from imminent death, and so now that's his motivation. Didn't even know the dude's hats were lined in it. That was crazy.
Was interesting.
Didn't even realize that.
It also I read deeper into that, even with the focus groups and all that stuff, it just shows how commercialism just like how how entrenched it is in our society, and like the fact that they're selling products to people that are suffering, they're survivors of this blast, and they're
come on back to New York, we're great.
Well, America exploits that type of stuff, right? I mean, people come out and pose as charities after a hurricane and stuff. We donate to us, and then they run off with your money. It's like they feed it. It is America, and even in this parallel universe, it's still America, right?
Capitalism.
So that's correct. Let's make money, so we're gonna sell these reflective teen hats, and I just thought that was interesting.
And squid alarms.
Yes.
Like EDS was a company that said there's a market. Well, no, there's a market of people that are scared,
right? And so we need to get this money from them.
And that played a theme in the show for me.
The guy said it in the focus, not the focus group, the group,
the support group.
The support. Well, no, I'm talking about at the very beginning when they're doing the
focus group.
Yeah, the focus group. They're doing the ad, and we're seeing what Looking Glass does for a living. He reads people, and in these focus groups, where they may not be telling the truth, they may not be forthcoming. They may just be saying what they want people want to hear, so they can get their little check and go home. And he's just like, they all hate your ad. They all hate your come back to New York ad. And he says, man, they're scared. And he's like, well, fear sells. Fear makes people do a lot of things. And to your point, that is the driver.
And what was interesting about him to me was the thing that that has become his career and what he's known for and what makes his money is being able to tell when people are lying or not.
Right.
Which is what he couldn't do then.
Right.
He couldn't tell that girl was just messing with him.
Right.
He thought she was authentic and she meant it. And he was, again, I think that spoke to how green he was. He took people at face value. And now, having gone through that experience, he is the complete opposite.
Which makes the origin doper because it's like he made a mission like, I will
never be in this situation again.
Right.
No one will ever
take my clothes and run off.
Yes, exactly.
And he's also tortured. And he's also tortured for it because they show his decision to do that through his ex-wife. She said for 7 years, he thought I was going to run off with your clothes. He's sitting there going, "Are you lying to me?"
Yeah, the whole time.
No, yes. No, yes. And she was like, I'm tired of it.
I'm out.
I'm
over. Yeah.
7 years of bad luck.
Yes. And it was, and she said something too. She was like, "Oh, you're wearing the hat again."
Right.
Yes.
Which let you know at some point he must have been a little bit better, whatever. And now with everything that's happened with the chief and all this stuff.
Well, there was a big squid fall.
Yes. When the squid fell in I guess that was the first episode when they were leaving the school. So he's back in his hat. So you see the struggle and everything that he's going through to try and move past that, which for him, it just wasn't possible, or at least hasn't been possible to this point.
Right. The one thing I found interesting with this episode was he would be essentially a profiler for the police department.
Yep.
Well, this episode, he was being profiled. Like the plant, the lady that was
Yes.
there from the 7th Cavalry. She knew exactly what to say. She knew exactly how to appeal to him.
Yeah, she
through
knew to make the cabbage drop or the
Right.
lettuce, whatever it was.
Yeah.
She knew to
Right.
make that fall off the truck. She
Right.
knew.
She knew exactly what to say. During dinner, like, why is everybody so calm when a squid fall happens? It was important
Right.
for them to show Angela go, oh, another squid fall. Let me
Let me
wipe
just clean
the
off the
car off.
windshield and keep
I'm
living
not
with life.
freaking out about
Right,
this.
nah.
But for him, it's like,
It's like this is a problem.
Yeah, this is apocalypse for me.
Right. Because he was there.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that dude was there.
Right.
In the
for
middle
most
of it.
part, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that, again, what he now has a job of telling when people are lying. He could not tell it in her.
Right, because he was being profiled. They knew exactly
they knew
what
to
his
do.
triggers were.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So
right.
what has become kind of his superpower, if you will, or his ability to really tell, oh no, this person's lying, that person's lying. He missed it in her, just like he missed it in the woman there at the
Yes.
amusement park. So
Right.
you have
And
to
once
wonder.
again, pants down.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. He was right back in the same situation in some ways.
Right.
So
I like the parallel to Rorschach, and they gave little hints like he and you might not know about some of this, but like Rorschach would eat like a raw can of baked beans.
Yes, yes.
He was eating the baked
Sure,
beans.
that
and
is
stuff
correct.
Like that.
I-
I don't know,
right,
and,
that is
and I
right.
think they just threw that in as an Easter egg, like, oh well, of course he would eat baked beans from the can.
out of a can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just all of that was great. I mean,
Yeah. I hope he's okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Blake Nelson is just a great actor.
He
Like,
is.
yeah.
He is, because he's able to both somehow be emotional and unemotional at the same time.
He's
Right.
been so unemotional for so long.
Yes.
That this was a refreshing and yet at the same time disturbing departure
Right.
from it. But like you were saying earlier, everybody's humanized at some point
some
or
point in the
another.
show.
But they all start off hard. You know what I'm saying? Extra. I'm unflappable.
Right.
You know, even the FBI agent. Gosh,
Yes.
I'm forgetting her
Lori
name.
Blake.
Yeah, like she came in and was, and then she kind of lost it a little bit with the car and her conversation. It seemed like she was kind of losing it, telling
Yeah.
those jokes. It's like she was kind of teetering on insanity a little bit. It was crazy, but
Well, if
they
you
showed
read the
the
book,
vulnerabilities. Yeah,
you understand why.
exactly.
she's-
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was not something that she wanted. Like as
Right.
far as being Silk Spectre, she didn't want all that.
And
but
then
it's kinda
also,
forced on
her
and-
father being
and
a
then the rape,
comedian.
right? It's just, she's been through a lot, and so she spent a lot of her life, interestingly, wearing a mask both literally and figuratively. So now she's wearing the figurative one, right?
Yes.
Like she's got this thing on, but I still believe that there's some vulnerability yet to be
Seen in her.
exhibited very soon.
And the thing about Looking Glass, I think what makes him compelling is he doesn't, like you said, he's riding the emotional, unemotional. Mm-hmm. When he's showing emotion, he's telling you the emotion. Like when
Yes.
he was in the car with Angela and they were talking about the death of Judd, and she got on it. She's like, stop interrogating me, and I loved him or whatever. Or they had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
And he said he made this
Something
line-
about why is he crying? Well, why
right.
am I
and
crying
he said,
under my mask?
He said,
or
"Why am I
something?"
crying under my mask?"
Yeah.
And but you don't
Right.
see him crying.
Right.
Right.
It's,
But
it's
he
crazy.
just
But
he
he's telling
articulates
you,
Right.
this is what's happening, but I'm
Right.
not going to let you see it. I'm not going to let you see me be this vulnerable and
Right.
this weak, because when it happened before,
Right.
it kind of jacked me up.
But the thing I love about him and what got really pointed out in this episode was that he would always tell the truth.
Yes. no matter what.
No matter what.
Right.
And you could tell it was never, even if you knew the truth was going to hurt someone, it was never with the intent of hurting.
Right.
He just felt like the truth is the most.
It needed to be. It's the only way.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
It's the only way, and that's why I do what I do. We need the truth because it's
Because the truth is neither good or bad; it just is.
It just
Right.
is.
And I think that's kind of what he represents.
Right.
It's just the consequences of the truth are the only things that can be viewed as bad or good.
Right.
But
the
truth is never
just,
bad.
It just is.
This is what it is.
Right.
That's-
And I
that's
love the
correct.
writing too, where even though he was being profiled, he was like, the lady was saying, well, I'm this. And he was like, okay, come on.
Yeah,
whatever.
no,
You're
really.
not- yeah, really. Who are you? And then she goes through a litany, and then she says, well, I'm a radiologist or something like that. And then after he gets caught, she has a moment of sensitivity and
Vulnerability
says,
or something.
vulnerability, and says, no, I'm seriously, I
really am a
I really am a radiologist, because he can question everything now.
Right.
Like he said, here comes and that was even Rorschach-esque when he's looking and he's scoping out the 7 cavalry places.
Yeah.
He's like, here goes a kick in the balls.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like
He just knew
He
this
knew.
is not going to end well.
No.
and he's walking. He's happily walking into it like, I can't help myself.
Right. It's like you
I'm
call
gonna-
for the backup dog. Why are you going?
That's
See,
what
that's
I
what
kept-
threw me off. I'm thinking, this dude, what are you doing? Well, don't go in there by yourself.
That's
bruh.
when I was screaming at the
Bruh.
TV. Just wait.
That's
They're
what I said.
coming.
Dude, you
just
called a man,
wait.
dude. That was Green Wade all over again, charging into the Hall of Mirrors.
But I think that also speaks to how important it was for him, how much he
He's
needed
heroic.
this to get fixed,
Right.
and how much he needed to right this wrong.
Yes.
So he was willing to put himself in harm's way, knowing he was probably putting himself in harm's way because this is what needed to be done.
Right. Like you said, justice needs to be applied.
Yes.
Which I loved. It
He
was
has
like,
some great one-liners.
oh,
Like he
yeah.
really does.
He does.
I don't want him. I hope he's not dead.
I really do. Oh, yeah, I
so I'm
know.
gonna be
Yeah.
bad.
I know we're bouncing around, but like
That last scene, like
Yeah.
you just,
Yes,
that was
'cause-
painful.
Well, I mean, even before the last scene, right? The whole Senator King thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Truth,
I knew it.
Truth once again. And with HBO, we don't even know if that's the truth. I mean, as far as I know, that's a doctor video. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but as far as it goes back to what we were saying about what is acceptable from an evil perspective to do what I need to do. He goes so far as to say, man, we got chapters of this thing. I mean, your boy, the sheriff, was on one. And he was doing his thing, working with him. I'm working with him, but
We all had our part.
We need to do it now. What you need? What he called it, a squid pro quo. I thought
Yes.
that was very well played, considering quid pro quo is a term that's thrown around quite a bit here lately. And if you didn't know what it was, you probably
Ad
had
nauseum.
education.
Ad nauseum is another word.
So, I mean, you can see on his face, this man has spent his entire life trying to make sense of this squid thing. And to hear Adrian Veidt say, oh, yeah, I orchestrated that. And I dropped it on there. And I periodically drop more.
Yep.
It's like we're just,
And so
I just need to keep you in
matter-of-factly.
line.
Yeah.
See,
It's what I
It
do
was a big
just
old
to
hoax.
remind you.
You're all good.
Right. So, like with Senator Keene or Congressman Keene, whoever
Whatever
it is,
he is,
Yeah.
trying to be the president king.
Yeah. Now, I think he's telling the truth when it comes to like there's branches of this, and Judd was working one. I think he was really telling them the truth
No,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
The tape, I'm still
That's what I'm
questioning.
saying. That's why I
Yeah.
said I'm
Because-
concerned about the tape.
I think they use it as a tool to get him
To
to
do
move,
what he needs to do. Right.
Yes.
Now, I don't know how they would have altered it or what they would have done to, I mean, I don't know. Was
Right.
that really Adrian Veidt back in the day? I mean,
Yeah, because what I found odd, what I found peculiar about it was if he recorded that in '85, he didn't really look as young.
exactly.
He looked.
At what you thought.
I don't even think they even de-aged him. It looked
No,
like he was just
he just-
still
Yeah.
Right.
like
They
old.
just gave him some Grecian formula and kept it moving.
Right.
Really, that's what it looked
Yeah.
like. His hair was just dark. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, HBO throw a curve at you in a minute. So I would.
But the point I'm trying to make too is like it was almost as if somebody knew that this guy was, in cruder words, a conspiracy nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Somebody
needed
on the
an
inside.
explanation.
Yeah, 10-4 hat.
Right.
He
I mean,
needed
he-
an
all his heads-
explanation.
Yes.
He needed
We
someone
need
to
something-
make this make sense.
That's
to
exactly
him,
right.
And they fed into that.
Right.
That's exactly right.
And to ensure that he was going to do what he needed to do to rat out Angela, they said,
Exactly.
"Well, I'm gonna get these racists over here to go
Yeah,
kill.
you need
Angela.
to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So
You know, I'll give you the truth, and we're." This is crossed over into the Black Lightning podcast. There's a character on there, Agent Odell, that he's evil, but he's manipulative. So what he does is give the person what they need
Right.
or
Yeah.
think they
Catalyst.
need or
He's
want.
that catalyst. He's
Yeah.
the
Right.
catalyst.
And then when he provides what they need or want, he
It
says,
benefits
"Well,
him.
I gave you this, so you need to do this for me."
Quid pro quo.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, reciprocation. That is, it's like it's in the book I'm reading again. I've mentioned it before, but that is one of the methods used for influence, like reciprocity, and then there's,
Right.
you know, it's so innate in human beings to want to return a favor.
Right.
There's a study done. This guy, he sent Christmas cards to folks he didn't even know randomly. Didn't know these folks. Just about all of them sent him one back because of the human.
We're
need.
pre-wired.
Right.
Guilt. It was a little bit of guilt
A
too.
little
It's
of
like,
that,
oh,
a little
what-
of that,
oh.
and then it's even they even cited the free sample phenomenon in your local
Yeah.
store. People feel bad after they've eaten your food that you've given them. Well, I'll buy a log of that cheese.
Yeah,
if you just you
Because
know
you
what I'm
gave me a little
saying.
piece.
And
I'm lactose intolerant, but I'll
I'll
buy
figure
it.
out something.
Exactly, but they said it works like gangbusters, and
Right.
and it's presented in such a way that I did it for you,
Right. You
and,
feel
and for no,
beholden
it
to
was
them.
free. And I want nothing, and then next thing you know, you walking out of there with 8 summer sausages.
Yeah,
It's like,
for no
you know what I'm
reason.
saying, like
For no reason.
and so that is the thing here. If you do this, I'll do this, and work like a charm. You
Yeah.
know which buttons to push, because human beings are kind of like machines.
Right.
It's like if you know what makes us work, it's just a matter of flipping the switch and turn on the engine to for and essentially executing a program that's already there, irrespective of logic and anything else.
One question though about him, because it seemed when he first got back to his house that all right, he bought into it. He felt like he didn't need the hat anymore. He understood. He knew the truth.
Right.
And the delivery of his new squid,
yes, that he
threw away.
adamantly demanded that they
Right.
give me next day.
But then he came back and got it again.
and got it.
So
Yes.
that makes you wonder, maybe he didn't buy it hook, line, and sinker the way they wanted him to.
I read
Because-
into it a different way.
Oh.
Continue what you were going to
Yeah,
say.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because he had to have this alarm. He
had to
needed to have it overnight. It doesn't care what it costs. It came. He picked the box up. He threw it away. But then he came back and got it out of the trash can. And to me, if he really believed there was, because they said we're going to show you the truth, so you don't have to be afraid. All of this stuff. If he really believed whatever it was, everything that they presented to him, to me, he would have left that in the
wouldn't
trash
need it
can.
anymore.
He wouldn't need it anymore because he believed it was a hoax. He believed there was nothing else to be afraid of.
Right.
The fact that he came back and got it made me think he was already starting to question it. There was something about what they said, what he saw in the tape, all of that he was like, you know what, this may not be right. I still need
There's
to hold
something
on
there.
to this. Yeah. But how did you see it? You were saying you saw it
So
differently.
to add to what you're saying, I 100% agree. I'm going to take it a step further. The more I'm thinking about it and the more I've watched this like 2 or 3 times, I think all of it was manufactured. Even from, and
How much of it? You mean
what do you
all
mean?
of
so
it?
like, I found it odd that this episode, his squid alarm is just on the fritz.
Like they deliberately broke it to
So
set
he-
off this chain of
Okay,
events.
so then he calls EDS, and he's like,
My thing is broke.
I'm freaking out here,
Right.
because
This has never happened. I
this
know
has
how it
never
works. I don't need a tutorial. Send me another one tomorrow.
That says volumes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody from the 7th Cavalry or Senator Keene is examining this, they go, sure, we'll send you this EDS thing, and then
gotcha.
we manufacture this whole thing, and then what I found interesting was the moment he, like you said, when he went back to the garbage can and said, no, something's fishy here. I'm going to still stay with my line of thinking. That's when the truck pulled up.
Yeah.
And that was a sign to me that.
gotcha.
So are they monitoring him?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Because they've been. Make sense.
He was a mark the whole episode.
Time.
Because they said we rigged the lettuce. The lady even said it took us a long time to rig the lettuce to fall out the truck.
Yeah.
It took like even the support group. He said, "Are you a friend of Nemo's?" Like he didn't know who it was, but he knew somebody was coming. He didn't know who. And it just happened to be an attractive lady.
Gotcha. That would make sense.
Right.
Well, and she said, because, in the support group, he was basically saying, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I see it. Everybody's going to be okay. And she immediately, as soon as they were outside, she called him on. It's like, you don't see a light. You're just as scared as the rest of them. So it's like,
I know you.
She knew that already.
Right.
She knew he was just as scared, which may be because they wired the whole, they wired his alarm to break. They were,
So I don't feel like it's a coincidence that the moment he pulled if he would have left it in the garbage can, they might not have
even pulled up.
Bro, the 7th Cavalry, they did say they were everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in order to know that much about him, you got to be in the precinct. You got to be wherever he's. You got to be. In
it doesn't matter
group.
if you're wearing masks.
It don't matter if you. We know what you're about because you pulling them off. Sometimes they wearing those masks in the precinct. He said it. He was like, it's within our best interest. Yeah, I'm talking to you, and I need to have this mask on. She's like, no, pull that thing off. I don't do.
That's true.
That. But and Sister Night, she just walks around in the precinct. No one pulls them off.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
I'm afraid
everywhere.
Here's where I'm afraid of too. Congressman King went to Lori's apartment and said, I need you to do this. And then after that whole exchange where the bomber came, and that seemed orchestrated too.
That seemed crazy.
It was drawing. It was almost like it drew Angela out.
Right, like we
and,
still don't.
And Senator King made this look at Lori, and he was like,
"Yeah, go ahead, pop him.
Yeah,
it's all good. He's expendable. They are racist anyway. He'll do what we need him to do.
Right. So I'm still
everywhere.
And that's the thing about this. It's like a whodunit, but it's like it's pointing to like 50 different people.
Yeah, nobody's. It's
right.
It's just like a new millennium game of Clue. It's crazy.
Right. Well, and then the TikTok thing too. Like whoever says TikTok, I immediately focus on them. I lock on them. Like even his pastor in '85 was like TikTok wave.
Right. That's what I'm saying, man. What are we doing? Nobody's safe. Not even the dude.
Right. Yeah.
How do you explain the cavalry having one of them dimensional machines, though? Where they procure that from? They got it like that?
The government.
King just walked in with it. I mean, because he was talking about it. He's like, man,
Here's the other thing, too.
They just throwing basketballs.
Yeah, just
random.
Here's the thing, too. Like, I didn't trust Senator King from the start.
No, me either. Not
at
all.
He came off as like a Kennedy-esque,
real cocky,
good-looking guy. Like, we're all about, getting the reparations.
Yeah, we love you.
And this whole like
work
protect
for
the
police. We love the police.
Right. And it was just too clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started suspecting him when he went to Lori's apartment by himself. I was like, something's off about this guy. And then that interaction. And then he made the point of like, I'm going to stay in Tulsa till the war is over. I'm not going to leave.
I'm going to be here.
Like, okay.
There ain't nothing else going on anywhere else. Mm-hmm. One of your little captains of the cavalry got killed.
But what I'm trying to get at is like the fact that he's a congressman and he has access to the government. I really feel like there's a statement on politics too here.
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
If the tape is true, which I'm trying to rationalize it as like, okay, if Ozymandias kicks off this event, he records his tape knowing that Redford is going to be president, which is a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Like, how do you predict that?
Yeah.
But is it a prediction or is it an orchestration? Did he then
basically
get him elected?
That happens,
True.
So they say.
But anyway, it was a statement on government, like, putting their hands in society as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of that in there.
I mean, a lot of it's suspicious. Like, if that tape were real, like, he's not going to entrust all that knowledge of a hoax of that level to a bunch of backwoods Nixonville living racists.
But I don't feel like
right?
all of them had seen the tape.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Like
they
I don't think everybody there had seen the tape. I think he deliberately waited and just showed it to Wade.
Okay, so they don't
that
know.
Was just my
and that's what I'm thinking.
I
He
don't
would
think
never.
the rest,
right.
Yeah,
and that's
I don't think the
I think
They
it
don't
was
have
made
any
for
knowledge
Wade,
of that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, but he's
because they
but he
think
tried
he's
to make
one of
them think-
them.
right.
They just think he is 7th Cavalry just like them.
Right.
As opposed to basically kind of being a double agent and him using them. So
Right.
I don't know if that tape is authentic. I doubt anybody else who was in that room throwing the basketballs and all that have seen it.
Right. And
Chilling.
that's my thought. I don't think they would. Like, why would you divulge that to them? It's not in your best interest
Yeah.
for them to see that Adrian Veidt tape. It's not. You know what I'm saying? We'll just feed you. We'll just let you continue to read your Rorschach journals.
Yep.
And do what you
And
want,
do my bidding
but right, but you
without
can't.
knowing.
Yeah, you don't need to know this, because y'all don't know how to keep that. Yeah, y'all lose your mind.
Well, they're not strategic.
No.
And he basically alluded to that. He's like, we can either be strategic about this and you can keep her away for a few days, or I can just send these folks in to go kill them all.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever.
It is what it is. They're gonna do what I tell them to do.
Yeah.
Right. Which is really unfair. It's like, I have the power. I'm just moving you like a chess piece right now.
Kind of like manipulating racists to do your bidding.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
kind of familiar.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
They just don't have tiki torches. They just have Rorschach masks.
They're smart enough to put on a mask.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's very timely.
Parallels.
It's very timely.
Can I bounce this off of you guys? Like, with the show, I tend to think too much. Like I've been.
Well, HBO makes you do that,
Right.
Because you feel
And
like you're
then
not doing your due
second guess your
diligence, and then
first
sometimes
thought.
you overthink. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then sometimes
I'm
it's face-
overthinking posters and
Sometimes it's face value.
Yeah.
but you don't know.
But I found it interesting that they focused on the support group and they were talking. They were highlighting. Okay, these people were. This was their 9/11.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I found really captivating was the black guy.
Yes.
Talking about it being in his DNA, and
Yes.
he wasn't
And-
born until
Right.
however many years later.
that
and
was confusing. I had to rewind that.
Well,
Yes.
That threw me off.
so I'm gonna bounce this off of you guys.
Okay,
'cause,
okay, come on with it,
What
'cause
was your take on it?
I-
Because I've mentioned before about emotional trauma. Like,
Yes.
because I didn't experience
Generational,
of
yeah,
generational
as it comes
trauma.
down. Mhm.
Like, generational, not emotional.
Yeah.
It is emotional
But
too.
with
Yeah,
Angela,
absolutely.
Yeah, but with Angela, but like, I just saw it as that, like he was trying, like the writers were trying to make a statement, like, you know, African Americans they've carried this generational trauma. Mm-hmm. The stain of racism has just traveled, and slavery has traveled with our culture, and even though we're free, we're still bound by it in some kind of way.
well, and
you
I
know?
think that's what we're really going to see with Angela, especially now that she's popped all these pills and she's
Right.
gonna all of the stuff that's
I
kind of
can't
been
wait.
dormant in her.
I cannot
now
wait.
she's gonna be living it in a very real way, which I think is just going to be basically a manifestation of what the guy in the support group was saying.
Right.
Because he was saying it's in his DNA and he wasn't there, but he still feels it.
Right.
She's about to experience
That's a good-
what's already kind
And I
of
want
in
and,
her.
It's
and
foreshadowing,
right. And I
actually.
wonder.
Yes.
So are they alluding to the fact that he might be on some nostalgia or something, or illegally or something? 'Cause, like, I
No,
didn't understand.
I don't think
no.
so.
Okay.
No,
I
he
think-
was talking about his mom,
Right.
and his mom was
Like she died in the thing or no?
no.
No, she survived because he was born afterwards.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So
It's just-
what he was relaying was, my mom suffered through
suffers
this.
for the- yes.
I grew up knowing that she lived
right.
after this, and this affected her.
Right.
And somehow it's gotten
Right.
into me.
Well, and that medically it actually happens.
Right.
Like if you have a parent who has been through a major trauma, it truly does change your DNA, and you literally do pass that on to your kids. And they talk about when women are pregnant, if it's a extremely stressful pregnancy,
Right.
your child is more prone to anxiety.
wow.
And like it's very
okay.
real. So I think what he was saying is actually medically accurate and scientifically accurate.
Right.
But it's going to be really interesting to see a different take on it as a result of Angela taking the nostalgia, because I think now we're going to see the kind of physical manifestation of
Right.
it in some ways, and all of the memories that are going to flood to her.
Right. And the reason I was bouncing it off, because I found it interesting that the person that was relaying that or saying that was a black
Was
guy.
black? Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
And it was almost like a dual. It,
Right,
it
right,
felt,
right.
to me, it felt like a dual meaning.
Exactly.
Well, and I think it
I would
is.
agree. I
I
think,
think it
I
is.
don't think you read too much into
Okay.
that at all. I think you hit that right on the head.
Right.
Yeah, there's a reason it was him as opposed to somebody else in the group saying it.
Right.
That's absolutely right.
And the interesting thing about nostalgia, like you were bringing up, in the graphic novel, nostalgia was cologne that Vite, his corporation, had created. And what I find interesting here, it's the name has crossed over to pills.
Yes.
Of memories that somehow get bottled up in pill form.
well, if you go out to the PDpedia, they
Okay.
break it down.
Okay.
This is a Lady True
you-
product.
Right.
Hold on, let me see. Let me go up here.
Well, so she rebranded nostalgia.
Essentially,
Right.
She took whatever it was and made it doper and put it in a pill. So, and just to read some of this stuff real fast, and it's very the PDpedia is some of the
Do
best
you know
stuff.
what PDpedia is?
No, I was going to
Okay,
ask.
this
I
is
was
a
like,
website.
It's called PDpedia.com.
You know the guy
Okay.
that's traveling with the agent,
Lori Blake.
Lori Blake.
Yeah,
That
uh-huh.
guy.
Yes,
This
yes.
is he's writing this stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
And
Okay,
he
okay.
fills in a lot of blanks.
And she says he is like, he's
Yeah,
her
he's a
history. He
historian,
knows everything
and
about
and
her.
He breaks,
and-
he
Okay.
comes out
Plus
here
more.
and writes this stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of extra out here. It's not for the kids,
Right.
But what is nostalgia? Let's just go there. It is a customized psychoactive compound of composed of synthetic mnemonic material replicated from the patient's brain and all natural corticosteroids drawn from the patient or properly matched blood relative. Tablets are derived through a proprietary process of neurochemical scanning of the hippocampus. That's so dope. I mean, that's so dope how they just take real stuff and make
Yeah.
it fake and it just believe.
And it sounds good.
It sounds good. Each tablet can contain 1 to 5 selected memories. Chromatic coding signifies grades of emotional experience, with red representing the most intense. It just so happens that was a bottle full of red
pills. Yeah.
A
And Will
doctor's
Reeves wears red.
yeah. A doctor's prescription. What does it say? A doctor's prescription. Scroll down here. A psychological assessment and a signed legal waiver are required. Mnemonic harvesting is what they do to help get this stuff and put it in. Is performed at at licensed True clinics only. And it just goes on and on. It just
So-
floods the patient
So
with emotions.
she must
and
be feeding memories to her daughter then. Because her daughter's like, I keep having this nightmare. Remember,
Yes.
Drew's
Oh,
daughter kept saying,
yes,
I keep having this nightmare that guys are burning down our village
Yes.
during Vietnam.
Yes,
And it's like, you weren't
Yes.
even born in Vietnam.
that's right. Always take nostalgia in a secure environment that can accommodate phantasmagorical experience. Never take something bold. Never take someone else's nostalgia. And she's
And that's what she
ingested
swallowed
an
the whole
entire
bottle.
bottle.
She just
This
turned it up.
episode is about to be. This is like
Anything can
mushrooms
happen.
times 100.
Yeah.
It's
anything.
about to be crazy.
So what would be what's the purpose of it in, like, why do people need to be reminded of their own memories?
I will read this to you. It goes further. The present is a worrisome time because the future is unknown. That leaves only the past to comfort us. Nostalgia by True is a revolutionary, all natural, personally customized medication for people suffering from anxiety, dementia, and psychic trauma.
Interesting.
Nostalgia turns memories of your choice into easily digestible tablets that allow you to experience those memories in the most lucid way possible. Ask your doctor today about nostalgia. So if you just want to relive the best moments of your life, come on
Pop a
back
pill.
in these troubling times where people are nervous and scared of rain
Squid falling from
squids
the
and
sky.
stuff. Yes. Yes.
So Will left it for Angela
On purpose.
because he told Lady True was like, look,
I know what you did.
yeah, why this is exposition. Why are you doing this? And he was like, he didn't really give an explanation. It's almost like he's like, well, I want Angela to know more about me, so I left him. Because he was acting like he needed him, but he doesn't need him.
Right.
He don't need
He
him.
don't need
Yeah.
him.
He's the hooded justice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
Can
a
we?
theory, that was a theory brought up by one of our guests a few weeks ago.
Right.
So I can't wait till next week.
So, before we wrap up, we got to talk about Ozymandias and
Yeah, well, that's crazy. This dude's crazy.
right.
What do you think about crazy Ozymandias? He wants out of there. That's for sure. We didn't get a cake this time though. We didn't get a cake.
Well, there's no need.
So-
He's out. He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. It's
So-
not time is not. If the theory is correct, time is not looping.
In the same way.
Yeah.
So yes, clearly he wants out. So my first question was, did he throw all those other people up there
Yes.
just so he could spell
Spell
out,
out, save
okay,
me.
now it's time to
That's
save
correct.
me. Like he couldn't just take a big old Sharpie and like, why you got to create all the little fish baby things and grow them
Well,
and
he
throw
has
'em
to
up
make
there?
sure that the trebuchet can launch a
Far
person
enough.
of his weight
Yeah.
or reasonable human weight up there in the first place before he jumps in it. And
Makes
you
sense.
you
You
want to
wanna
send a
test-
whole
you
lot of them up there
you wanna
to make
test
sure
it,
it's
yeah.
right.
Right.
You know, and then when you send me, I need a rope tied to me in the event
That's a
something doesn't work out.
long rope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a long, but it was just, I mean, he's literally just walking through, breaking off body parts.
Breaking off body parts.
To spell off, okay, you can get me
To the
now.
side, like, come get
I'm
me.
ready.
Yeah.
Like, deuces, I'm out. I know
right.
I'm here.
No, game
And now
warden.
bring
Where
me
you
back.
going? Who is the game warden?
I don't know.
Who is that dude?
I have no idea.
I don't either, and I can't figure out why. I mean, it's beyond him just doing his job of imprisoning him. This is personal for the warden. Like to me, it feels like he is personally mad that he keeps leaving. Like it I don't know. I'm
Or
curious
attempting
to
to
know.
escape.
Yes. I'm curious to know if there's some backstory with the two of them aside from just you're in prison here and it's my job to keep you here.
Right.
Yeah, because we don't know who we really don't even know who's put him there.
Right.
And
why
that dude
he's
is
there.
a dedicated servant of whoever the person put him there.
Right.
So
Now,
But-
was that Mars? Was he close to Mars?
Well,
don't
that's
know.
what
That's
I'm
what I'm trying to
wondering.
think,
I'm
but I couldn't
Because
assuming.
Manhattan's on Mars.
man, hands on Mars. He's chilling on Mars.
Well, that's what I assumed it was Mars because I couldn't figure out anywhere else to me would have seemed just out of left field.
Right.
Although stuff
It-
happens
HBO,
out of left
right,
field. So,
right.
but I assumed it was Mars.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I heard, there was a friend of mine said, "Well, it's Saturn." I was like, "But I didn't see any rings."
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And what does Saturn have to do with any of it?
Right.
But who knows? I mean, it could have been the moon. It could have been anywhere.
Right.
So, but it was weird. But again, even that whole storyline kind of goes to both the technological advances and like they don't have. He's using this very primitive kind
know.
of to launch
Old
people up there,
catapulter.
but then he's growing babies out of the ocean and putting them in this
Put him in the thing
machine
and
to
growing them.
big them up and
Right.
so it's still this interesting kind of dichotomy of times and technical ability and it's just it's weird
Right.
but cool at the same time. But yeah, he don't want to be there. He wants out.
I'm curious who he's talking to. Like, the satellite is pointed. Okay, so people on or the government or the military or people on Earth are watching Dr. Manhattan
Right.
through satellites.
Right.
And for some reason, this satellite is pointing toward the
Wherever
moon.
he is.
And he's like, "This is my time. Save me." He knew to say, "I need to spell this out to cue somebody to come get me."
Yeah.
So,
The question is, did somebody see it before he got pulled? You know what I'm saying? Did anybody see?
well, it didn't matter. He got the message.
Yeah, that's what I'm
complete.
saying. That's what
It
I'm
didn't
saying.
matter if he got pulled or not.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Did anybody see it though?
Right.
I'm assuming it did, but we don't know for sure. We won't
Right.
find out until later, I guess.
Right. Next
What's
episode
interesting-
is I can't
That
wait.
thing is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it looked like, was it me or was the imagery black and white?
Yes.
for that episode? See, here we go. Pandas and black and white, and,
Yes.
and here we go.
It's gonna be something.
I mean, she looked like she was walking around downtown Tulsa in the 30s.
In the- yeah.
And then
like,
Calvin
and
is
she
involved
was.
in some kind of way, and I'm just
Dr.
like,
Manhattan.
okay.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
don't know. He's just so calm, man. I don't know, yeah.
He
Right.
is. He's very chill.
Yeah.
He takes it all in stride.
Right. I have a feeling it's going to end so weird where you're going to it's going to open up more conversation.
Probably
I'm
so.
trying to mentally prepare for that. But I'm liking the ride so far, so I don't know.
It's definitely a ride, and there are all of these. Again, it's the layers that I love. It's it's a cool story, but then you can be as deep or as shallow with it as you want to be,
Right.
and still get something from it. And to me, that's just good television.
Well, here's what you can possibly look forward to from Sister Night and Rare. These are side effects.
Excuse me.
Overdosing on nostalgia might trigger one, some, or all the following: cardiac arrest, respiratory distress, sleeping, sickness, catatonia, psychic looping, incessant weeping, laughing, or screaming, random or irregular erections. She won't have that problem. But she might have random or irregular vaginal wetness.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
Involuntary orgasms, explosive flatulence or diarrhea, kidney, liver, and colon failure, and the complete collapse of the autoimmune system.
Isn't that all the side effects?
That's
for,
all of them for
yeah.
everything.
For everything.
Why don't you just put? Yeah, that's true. Why don't you just put death there and
Anything
save
up to
your
and
label
including.
space?
Yeah. Like some stuff could happen and then you die.
But the most common, these are the most common, which are probably more prevalent in 90% of those who have overdosed. Fever, chills, nausea, hives, sweaty palms, dehydration, halitosis, anal leakage,
Halitosis.
anal leakage, insomnia, sleepwalking, and deja vu. So get ready next week, ladies and gentlemen.
This is about to be
It's gonna be a
crazy.
very colorful yet not so colorful.
Wait a minute. Did you say halitosis?
That's what it says.
They made a point to
bad
say
breath,
Yes.
which
This is
I'll
gonna be
take bad
interesting.
breath over some of this other stuff.
over anal leakage any day. Yeah, I feel like that's the better option.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we have to. I feel like I have to assume Lady True's going to be in the next episode. Like I feel like she's going to need to come and save Angela from halitosis and all of that other stuff. Like
I don't know. I really think this is my theory on the episode. I think the whole episode is her
Angela just walking
tripping.
through the
going
past,
through the
right.
process, and
Yeah.
it could be, and it's just designed to reveal.
gonna be a
And
long
Lo-
detox,
and
boy.
Lori Blake is just witnessing it all because she's like, "Is it hit yet?"
Yeah.
She's like, she's waiting for it.
Right.
She wants
She
to find
knows.
out.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be like an episode
She
of
knows.
Doom Patrol, man. It's gonna be super weird.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another DC property that's worth your time in the event that you have DC Universe.
Right.
Well, of course, it's gonna be on HBO Max next season, right?
yeah.
I can't have any more streaming services.
Right?
I'm
Broke.
like-
I got too much as it is. I can't
have
even get rid of
6
Netflix.
Of them.
Right.
I feel
That's
like I'm
ridiculous.
done. I'm
Did you do
tapped out.
Disney Plus?
Of
Oh,
course.
yes, you mentioned it
I,
earlier. You
I
gotta
did
have
it in it. I paid for it before it even launched.
Oh, you
and
did the
I
jump on
set
board
my
and-
alarm for 5 a.m. that morning.
Wow.
So that's
Like-
why it crashed.
When I tell it could, like I will.
Yeah, I
own
crashed
that.
too. Yeah.
When I tell you, I like my.
What did
whole
you watch
family,
right away? What is it that you were trying to watch so soon?
It wasn't even any one thing in particular. I was just that excited about all of it.
Wow.
Like there was no one thing I was just dying to see.
Okay.
But I had to scroll through and like see it. And then the 19-year-old called me, "What's the login information?"
Right. Because I'm not paying.
Even with me being up at 5, my 16-year-old was up before me, had already created a profile.
Look at that.
And like, this is a kid who normally I have to drag out of bed. But
No.
she's like
Up
and
on the
she's
tablet.
on there, on her computer.
Right.
This is the best thing ever. So yes, we have Disney Plus. We have used it quite frequently.
Do you have Verizon?
No, unfortunately, I
Okay,
don't. So I'm
yeah.
having to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
Right,
But,
it's all good. It's worth every dime.
I want
is,
to tell
it
people
is.
that
Worth
you get
every
it for
dime.
free.
Worth
Yeah.
every
For a year.
dime.
Yeah.
It is. It's worth it. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I'm happily paying for it. I'll probably watch something tonight. Like I have gone back and watched like Phineas and Ferb, just random stuff, just because it's there. I'm like reliving my kids' childhood.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
People
yeah.
watching
Can't-
gargoyles,
Yes.
and wanting a movie, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
just randomness, but it's the best thing ever.
yeah, I'm watching X-Men. Like they had the X-Men, the
Yeah,
old
the
X-Men
90s
cartoon.
joint, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a classic one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we have it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're not watching that in between. Tune in every Sunday for this Watchmen.
Yes.
It's wonderful. Before we conclude, though, we want to just like to thank those who have patronized us out on patreon.com/EST1982 podcast. Our beloved District 9, who not only give us their time, our podcast their time, but they also contribute to the podcast in a financial fashion. And so we cannot let that go without our appreciation. And we're going to start with one. Carrie Ledbetter, my lovely wife, thank you so much for your support. Raphael M. Jordan, Thank you, sir. We have Jamal Weidman representing that Philly. Thank you so much for your support. There is Militant Billy. Militant Billy, a.k.a. Mage TV, and the Professor. Thank you so much for your support. We've got Brandon Enigmatic 52 King, Terrence Don't Call Me Richie, Rich, Johnny Prototype out there in Cali representing, and Tori Moore, Miss Tori Moore in the ATL. Thank you.
You got a gift coming too.
So yes. Thank you so much for your support. And again, we're out there on patreon.com/EST1982 podcast. And it's not this Watchmen podcast is not the only one that we have out here in our network of podcasts on the Established 1982 umbrella. We have this one, obviously, Watchmen. We have the Black Lightning podcast. We have our flagship podcast that talks about everything video games, comic books, movies, and TV. And then we actually discuss comic books, 2 comic book characters in particular, one being Naomi, a comic book 6-book run by Bendis about a young African American woman, main character in the DC universe now, who's getting a lot of shine, a lot of love, and she's like mad powerful. Look that up. Jamal Campbell does the art on that. It's wonderful, and he also does the art on the other podcast that we dedicate to this comic book called Far Sector, and that's about a African American woman Green Lantern. And so that is something that we do a podcast on, and the writer on that one is one that is absolutely sensational, N.K. Jemisin, excellent writer. And again, Jamal Campbell lends his talents artistically to that comic book, though. So those are our podcasts on that network. Again, out there, patreon.com/EST1982 podcast if you want to support that way. But you can also go out on the website and listen to every single one of those on established EST1982podcast.com, the wonderful website that Mr. 1% has fashioned.
Thank you.
It is wonderful. Yeah. It is wonderful. Yeah. As for this podcast, I would like to thank Miss Christy Pruitt Haynes once again for her insightful and wonderful perspective from an African American woman.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it was that was wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is there anything you want to shout out? Is there anything coming out?
Ted, you got anything? She's a TED Talk. She be TED Talking.
Yes.
On
yes.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yes, please check out my TED Talk on YouTube. I'm actually now on the speakers committee, so looking for more speakers, making sure that TED stage stays diverse and has something for everyone. More to come. Look me up next year. There's going to be a book next year.
Okay. Look at that.
Yes, I can't. I don't have I can't go into all the details, but trust me, it's going to be phenomenal.
We believe it.
Yes. But there'll be links. I'll give y'all a link to my website,
and we will put it out.
Keep
there.
up with all of my comings and goings.
You might have to come back for this Watchmen.
Yes. I can't wait
because if Sister Knight just loses it, then we, you know what I'm saying,
there'll be lots of conversations.
Uncontrollable flatulence and such.
Yes. we must discuss.
Might have to get a doctor up here.
Exactly.
Hey, was this side effect true to form?
And ladies, watch it. Watch this show.
It's okay.
Yes, watch all the other movies. It's
watch
great,
'em.
and it gives you really cool stuff to talk about.
There's cute guys that watch the show.
There are.
You know, they're out there, and they're you know.
Right. And
that alone is worth it. That alone.
The woman told you, if you don't want to be single no more, you better smoke a cigar and talk about comic books.
I'm telling you.
You better do something.
Stop trying to be cool all the time.
Stop trying to be cute and go to the day parties and the happy hour. It ain't working no more. It ain't working. You still single.
Yep. Do something different.
Do something different. Change it up. It's a new day. Get off that Bumble.
Yes.
Bumble.
Get off that Tinder and play a video game.
There you go.
Again, thank y'all so much for your support. Christy, thank you so much for lending your insight and your revelation on this thing. And until next time, people, we'll holler at you.